move on or move out, all the way over to London. The second game, just 1 week apart. Tottenham Hotspur getting a lot of use there. And there was an issue, before we get to what was a very exciting game and an unlikely outcome, there was an issue pregame that was presented to me. And one of the things I try to do in this business, and Jay Glazer explained this to me a long time ago, and he and I were talking recently, and I brought him back to that point, and we kicked it around some more. There's a lot of journalism that gets done in the NFL journalism world that isn't really journalism. It's just giving everyone a 5-minute heads up on the announcement that's about to come, and that gets traded like a commodity. And Myles, we've talked about it before. You've been part of that. You've worked for a team. Yes. I'm not saying anything out of school here. You've said it on PFTPM. You work for a team, and you're told by someone with the team, Schefter's going to break this, and then 5 minutes later we're going to announce it. It's orchestrated. It's a little... it's not the way I choose to operate, because I'm not going to engage. I had a GM at one point offer to give me his next scoop 5 minutes early if I'd quit making a point that I was making. It's like, number one, I don't do things that way. Number two, thank you for letting me know that there are others out there that do things that way. It confirms a lot of the things I think about those people. Nevertheless, I digress, and now I'm going to hear, why are you doing this, from my wife? Why are you doing this? Anyway, here's why I'm doing it. You didn't
mention any names.
Here's why I'm doing it. Not really, but
just get to your point.
Here's the point. The real journalism in this space is the stuff they don't want us to know about, the stuff they'd rather not us talk about. And one of the things I'm sure they didn't want anyone talking about yesterday was there were people who thought that field at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium that comes up from underground like some sort of a dramatic reveal at a concert, right? I remember going to see Kiss in the late 70s, and they came up from the bottom of the stage, and I thought that was so freaking cool. And the field comes up, the grass parts, and the field comes up. I don't know where the grass goes, but there's a long seam down one side with dips in it, and it passed inspection. But the NFLPA confirmed there was a concern about the seams in this field. Like, how can this be? And what were they going to do? Fail the field and tell all the people who showed up for Giants-Packers, sorry, we're doing our best to carefully construct a European and international audience, and we brought all these thousands of people out to watch this game. We kind of screwed up the field, and we're not going to play the game today. Like, that was never going to happen. So, Fortunately, there weren't any incidents, and I didn't see any noise from the Giants, who are very accustomed to a substandard turf field. They play 8 games on it a year. At MetLife Stadium, based upon the complaints we've seen from others. But I'm glad that it wasn't an issue. But that was the thing that was percolating before the game even began. And hopefully by next year when they play at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, they get that figured out.
Yeah, well, this is what we were talking about last week, Mike, where it is a situation where in European football, as soccer, as we call it over here, they do not play on turf. That's why at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, there are 2 different levels. There's the grass level, which they use for soccer. And then there is that turf field that, as you said, comes up. And so again, it's sort of like, why is it that we have these different playing surfaces? And George Kittle made this point last night after the 49ers played the Carolina Panthers. He was talking about, why is it that there's not one standard of turf that is used all throughout the NFL so that guys could at least get a chance to get used to exactly what the playing surface is going to be from week to week, from field to field. So I still think that there is no reason in the world why the NFL cannot invest in having every single stadium use grass. But that's not really, I guess, what we're supposed to be talking about right now.
No, but that's fine, because it's something that we need to talk about. It gets glossed over because there's always another bright, shiny object to discuss. And in the course of the football season, it's hard to carve out time to really talk about it, except when there's some sort of an incident. But it is a point that needs to be made over and over again. John Harbaugh has articulated that point. He made it after the Ravens played at MetLife Stadium in week 1, and it came back again after Sterling Shepard suffered the non-contact ACL tear 2 weeks ago tonight there, where it was like he was shot in the knee. He's just running. He didn't even cut, and there it went. I'm with Kittle. Let's have, if you're going to have grass, it needs to be the same standard everywhere, although they surely, I think, love to have different. As long as it's grass, they're not going to get picky. But if you're going to have turf, why isn't it the same manufacturer? Why isn't it to the same standard? Why isn't it the same 100 by 53 yard carpet that gets installed in these stadiums? So it is important if the owners really care about protecting the investments they made, even if they don't regard the players as the human beings that they are.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.